Welcome to a Vanguard news video without the bullshit. Let's get started. Bushiroad has collabed with a Japanese art company to reissue certain cards, but with artworks that look like they were originally made to be NFTs. Kodama is Forktail. Alvali is Greedon. Nolfine is Combined Russia. Lumes Gold is Kaber. And Liliaria is Diantha. Seems that Brandgate and Keta Sanctuary got the best end of this collab while Dark States got it the worse. No information if the English release will get this reissue. Time for Stoicheia to finally go back to its roots as being half a zoo nation with their latest ride line and DBT11. Misty Archpegel Meiko is your typical D-series starter that will make you question why didn't you just play the Digimon TCG instead. Misty Arc Elandrina when ridden over by a grade 2 Misty Arc card lets you call it to rear guard from Soul. And while on the back row rear guard, you give all of your front row rear guards in the same column as this unit 5k power if your other Misty Arc rear guard was called by your unit's ability. Wait a minute, a platypus? Parry the platypus. Misty Arc Lulus Manta when ridden over by a grade 3 Misty Arc card lets you call it to rear guard from Soul. And when it's placed on rear guard, you can soul charge one card then prevent one of your opponent's rear guards from intercepting if you have a grade 3 or higher Misty Arc Vanguard. Honestly, if it didn't have Manta in its name, I could have sworn it was a dolphin. Misty Arc Lulus Zool when placed on Vanguard lets you call up to one grade 3 or lower unit card from the top 7 cards of your deck. Then your opponent discards a card if you have 5 or more units on the field. And while on Vanguard, you can pay 1 counter blast when it attacks a Vanguard to return one of your Misty Arc rear guards to your hand, then call up to one Misty Arc card with a different name from the one returned with this ability. In a format ruled by Gandiva and potentially Vermilion, you'd be lucky to use this card's first ability every time you persona ride. At least this deck can perform 4 attacks like everyone else. Misty Arc uses a star while on rear guard, lets you countercharge 1 damage when it boosts a Misty Arc card if you have 3 or more face down cards in your damage zone and did not countercharge this turn. Why does the more silly and cool designed cards have to be the ones that have subpar abilities? Misty Arc Miramilin when placed on rear guard gets 5k power if you have 3 or more Misty Arc units on the field. Then you can pay 1 soul blast to prevent one of your opponent's rear guards from standing on their next stand phase. And once per turn while on rear guard, you can bind this unit into Misty Arc rear guard with a different name if you have a grade 3 or higher Misty Arc Vanguard to call a card bound with this card's abilities cost. Why the hell would you go -1 just to prevent your opponent from intercepting with 2 or more rear guards? Seems like the designer of this deck has a vendetta against Obscudeed. Misty Arc Arpirol when placed on rear guard gets 5k power if you have 3 or more Misty Arc units. Then you can pay 1 counter blast to draw a card. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is probably the first Stoicheia deck that doesn't need Inlet Pulse because they have their own. It still won't stop players from using it anyway. Finally, get your scabbard and sheath ready ladies as Talcon Ranbu reveals start next week. New mechanic like smithing and extreme training will be revealed. If I have to guess, they are getting set order cards that will put them on standby like Galactic B heroes. And that concludes this Vanguard news video. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you suddenly want to become a marine biologist.